Good morning, traders. I'm Emily Vani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Wednesday, December 4th. We await the bell this morning as investors await comments from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell today and more economic data. Stocks are coming off another mixed but record-setting session yesterday. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ inched higher to close at record levels. The S&P 500 added 2 points, or 0.05%. The NASDAQ picked up 76 points, or 0.4%. The Dow ended off by 76 points, or down 0.17%. Bill, let's get into today's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes. Good morning, Emily. Man, watching the S&Ps. The S&Ps are showing positive gains this morning. I mean, there's a lot of positive news out there, and the latest rounds of earnings reports that came in from big tech shows that this AI trade is still positive. So that's really helping the market this morning. Later this afternoon, Jerome Powell is going to be speaking. This is his last public statement before the FOMC meeting, and he's going to be interviewed as well on CNBC. So that's I think happening 1:40 today. What do we got? We got some key investors day today. United Healthcare and Robinhood. Those firms are having investors day today. Beige Book data is coming out this afternoon. I see GM forecasting a $5 billion charge related to its business in China and a regulatory filing that came out this morning. On the earnings front, we got a lot of earnings coming out after the bell. Five Below, FIVE, American Eagle, AEO, PVH, Centennial S, and Synopsys SNPS. They're all scheduled to release after the bell, so we gotta keep our eyes attention on that. And then we got to look at what's happening over in Europe this morning, because there's a lot of action happening over in Europe this morning. The DAX is showing gains of 141 points, or 0.7%. The FTSE's lower by 20 points, or 0.23%. The CAC, however, is positive by 25 points, or 0.34%. Which is interesting because, French lawmakers are going to be voting later today on, a possible no confidence vote over that budget dispute. So, I do see auto stocks trading higher in Europe, which is good. Also, the Eurozone GDP data, there's estimates out there showing that it's going to grow 3.3% in 2025 and 2026. So that's positive. In London, we are seeing some weakness in the mining stocks. Okay, that's hurting that index a little bit. But then we're turning our attention over to Asia, and Asia was a little bit. It was flat to mixed. I mean, the Nikkei finished up 27 points, which is 0.07%. Hong Kong finished down like 4 points, or 0.02%. The Shanghai in China fell 14 points, or 0.42%. In China, we're really waiting on, the stimulus action from the PBOC next week. But we did see auto stocks and solar stocks, lead to the downside this morning. Whereas in Hong Kong, did see some positive activity in energy stocks. But in Japan, the market's cautious because, you get they're watching that currency very closely, and there were some gains in defense stocks and retail stocks, which help offset the weakness in financial shares. But it's all about that currency, and they are expecting to raise rates. I don't think they're going to raise rates until January, but we'll have to wait and see. Just turning our attention over oil for a second. Oil is flat to higher. You got WTI at $70.02 a barrel. You got Brent at $73.77 a barrel. Now, the API stockpiles came out last night, and they indicated a build in stockpiles, which is bearish for oil prices. They indicated a build of 1.2 million barrels last week. But it's that OPEC meeting, and was really kind of holding the market hostage to the oil market, hostage right now. Saudi Arabia is holding the cartel together. They're going to be asking for, these production cuts to be delayed. They're not going to, it's unlikely they're going to do it through January, and it's possible they might push it off to the second quarter of 2025. And that's going to be a little bit of an issue because these other OPEC nations really do want to start turning up their spigot. They have the infrastructure to do that. They need the revenue to pay for the infrastructure developments that they did. So OPEC is really kind of at a tenuous point right now. But they are expected to push those production hikes back another month, and that will probably come out tomorrow when OPEC does have their meeting, Emily. And that's what I have for you for a morning market update report.
And Bill, I'm going to double click here on that earnings action. A number of big tech firms came out. Stocks are moving higher, sort of on the win sales from that big tech, a bunch of those reports. And as you mentioned, some to look ahead to. So Bill, why don't we dive in? What is going on in terms of earnings action?
Well, I mean, let's talk about what happened last night. Salesforce.com, ticker CRM, Charlie Richard Mary, they missed by 4 cents, but they did it on higher revenue. And you know, you look at that stock, it's up over 12% this morning. Then you get Marvel Technologies, MRVL, Michael Richard, Victor Larry, they beat by 2 cents on higher revenue. Marvel is up 13.06% this morning. And Pure Storage, ticker PSTG, Paul, Sam, Tom, Grace, they missed by 23 cents, but they did that on higher revenue. That stock's up 23% this morning. So we had a lot of good earnings that came out last night. Upcoming after the bell today, we got American Eagle Outfitters, ticker AEO. EPS is 46 cents. Expected move is 11.43%. We have Five Below, ticker FIVE, Frank India, Victor Edward. Their EPS is 16 cents. Expected move is 16.99%. And Centennial One, ticker S as in Sam, their EPS is a penny, and their expected move is 13.13% when they release this afternoon, Emily.
Bill, another area where action seems to be picking up, the economic events front, a number of economic reports coming out today. And, you know, on the Fed front, Fed speak, including from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. So let's get into that. Bill, give us a rundown of the day's economic events.
Sure. Let's take a look at what's happening. At 8:15 a.m. this morning, we get the ADP employment report. At 10 a.m., we get factory orders. Also at 10, we get the ISM Services Index. At 10:30 a.m., we get the EIA oil stockpiles report. Then at 2 p.m., we're going to get the Beige Book data. And in terms of Fed speak, at 8:45 a.m., we're going to hear from St. Louis Fed Bank President Alberto Mussam. And then at 1:45 p.m., we're going to be hearing from Fed Bank Chairman Jerome Powell. But this morning, the key one is the ADP employment data. That's going to, that it's expected to grow, this morning. So we'll, estimates are looking for, a number to come in at plus 163. That's a little high, I think, but because you did have that Boeing strike that went on, that was going on. But we'll have to see how they come in. But that's what I have for you in terms of morning market update report, Emily.
And Bill, you know, you're watching all of this action, all of that earnings action, all of those economic events and Fed speak, using your NewsWare, breaking it down into alerts to gather that information. You're also gathering information, things like guidance news, shareholders meetings. You're looking at your stocks grouped together, like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
I'm just looking at my Dow stocks. I only have 11 higher and 19 lower, so that's not positive going to today. But I look at my FANG stocks. Meta's weak this morning, but not overly weak. I mean, remember this stock's had a great run from 570 to 1613, and so it's off just a little bit. But everything else in the FANG sector is trading higher, so that's kind of positive. You're looking for some of the news behind the tape this morning, and Apple revealed that it's using Amazon's chips at that annual AWS reInvent conference. JP Morgan is out there reiterating Amazon is one of its best ideas. Tesla, Goldman's out there saying that Tesla's not on track to grow deliveries in 2024. Interesting. In terms of Dow Jones 30 stocks, we got NVIDIA. China's banning sales of several minerals to U.S. And that's in retaliation of the chip sanctions that Biden's putting on China. Walmart, ticker WMT, they completed that $2.3 billion acquisition of Vizio. In terms of guidance news, Salesforce.com, CRM, they see Q4 EPS $2.57 to $2.62. Street estimates at $2.63. That's slightly lower. Ticker BOX, boy, Oscar X-ray, they see Q4 Core EPS coming in at 41 cents. Street estimates 41 cents. Okay. United Healthcare, UNH, they backed their 2024 adjusted EPS view of 27.50 to 27.75. Street estimate has it at 27.61, right in the middle. That's good. Foot Locker, ticker FL, they see Q4 adjusted EPS 70 to 85 cents, 70 to 80 cents. Street estimates at 95 cents. Not good. Foot Locker's trading lower this morning. In terms of shareholders meetings, United Healthcare, UNH, they have their investors day today, starts at 8 a.m. Robinhood, they're having their investors day today. And, Fastenal, ticker FAST, they're going to be releasing their sales figures for November tomorrow. But, also you got to keep an eye on Costco because today's the first Wednesday of the month. So Costco typically release their sales data for the previous month on the first Wednesday. So keep an eye. I don't see any news on it, but keep an eye on Costco. They may release this afternoon their sales data for November. And that's what I have for you about news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
Going with Science Applications, ticker SAIC, Sam, Apple, India, Charlie. Earnings are tomorrow morning. EPS, the EPS is $2.17. Expected move is 9.93%. Looking at the call volume, 164 calls versus 127 puts. Open interest, 2,199 calls versus 1,461 puts. That's good. Major brokers do like it. It did have a big sell-off in early November. They've been saying, hey, to buy on this weakness, and their earnings are coming out. It looks like it's okay, but I want to get in cheap. I want to get in at the 124 or under range, and I don't know if that's going to be possible. But I mean, I'm looking at everything that's releasing earnings, and I don't see anything that's jumping out at me saying, jumping out at me. Kroger, Kroger looks good. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but I don't expect anything significant out of it. But the Dollar Generals and Five Belows, I'm a little cautious on it because of the tariffs in China. I mean, that's got to play against them because that's where they import all their data from. So I do like Science Applications. I do think that has the ability to really make a move. I do think that has the ability to come in with a beat. But as soon as I grab my 1% on Science Applications, I'm out. But that's my pick of the day. SAIC, Sam, Apple, India, Charlie, Science Applications, Emily.
Looking to grab that 1% gain in Science Applications today, we will follow that along with you. And coming up, we will do a recap on yesterday's pick of the day, also a play running into earnings. We're going to see how that turned out. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Campbell Soup, or the Campbell's company, says they're committed to returning cash to shareholders. Let's see what else we got here. Cracker Barrel, CBRL, reports Q1 comparable sales. Restaurants increased 2.9%. Roku jumps up 5%. Needham's talking about a takeover in Roku. Yeah, I can see Roku being taken over. I just don't think it's going to be Paramount. I just, I don't see that. JetBlue, ticker JBLU, booking performance higher than expected immediately following the election. Marvel, Morgan Stanley's out with a cautious note on Marvel. High valuations in 2026 market share keeps us at equal weight. There's a lot of news out on the Saudi Arabia and OPEC, that's worth a read. I went over it this morning. It's going to be tough for them to keep that cartel together. Wells Fargo is set to sell its San Francisco headquarters, according to sources. Edward Life Sciences, ticker EW, they're going to provide an update on their pipeline and their financials today. Teva, ticker TEVA, they presented positive phase 3 data for their drug that prevents migraines in children. GM taking a more than $5 billion charge on its China operations. Lilly Zepbound tops Wegovy for weight loss in head-to-head trial. $10 this morning. Google, Australia's competition watchdog, said that there was a need to revisit efforts to ensure that greater choice for internet users, citing Google's dominant search engine market share. The head of the U.S. Senate's panel harshly criticized airlines for regarding luggage fees and seat assignments. Intel has started evaluating a handful of outsiders for the CEO role. Netflix says they passed the 10 million mark for subscribers in Japan. That's what I have for you this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we sign off on this Wednesday, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was Chewy. They did release earnings this morning, sort of overshadowed by some of those bigger headlines in the tech sector. But stripping out one-time items, earnings came in at 20 cents a share. Analysts were looking for 23 cents a share there, a 3-cent miss. Sales did increase to $2.88 billion from $2.75 billion. And analysts were looking for $2.86 billion, so ahead there. In terms of guidance, they did raise their guidance. They're looking at a full year 2024 revenue view of $11.79 billion to $11.81 billion. Now that is from $11.6 billion to $11.8 billion. The consensus there had been $11.76 billion. They also raised their full year 2024 adjusted EBITDA margin view to 4.6% to 4.8%. That's up from 4.1% to 4.3%. Not a terrible report there, Bill, but you were trading this one yesterday, looking to hang on to your strategy. If you got your gain, you were going to walk away. So how did your call work out?
It worked out. I mean, just look at the numbers. The stock opened up at $33.33 and it fell down to $32.88. And then it just started rallying and it climbed all the way up to $34.46 and closed at $33.62. And you looked at it this morning, it actually hit $35.33, which is $2 above yesterday's opening price. So if we're looking for 1%, you got it there. That 1% is key in order to kind of consistently, achieve profitability. So, Chewy, ticker CHWY, was a winner yesterday, Emily.
Achieving that profitability there with Chewy, and we will check in with you tomorrow about today's science applications pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.